Okay, so I'm doing this video because someone had a Ask HershNoeie, and it's a really good one, right? I first need to update some stuff. I need to actually post a few videos that are already done that Noelle did, but that I just haven't gotten a chance to do. Oh, this is kind of up. I'm sorry, guys. Let me try to. I don't want it to fall. Am I good? Maybe. Anyway, so make sure you join the Discord. It's going to be down in the description box below. Someone asked this question. Let me go in here and find it. Hey, Hersh, I wanted to ask you about your past. You always said that you used to have a past where you would be out there. What made you stop, and why did you do it? What lessons to learn? I'm a young man trying to find my way. So during COVID, I haven't been able to be out there like most. So, oops, I said the word. I should have said sickness. I haven't been out there like most. Tell me, what are your thoughts? And then he puts his name, right? These are very good questions, right? I got a person who, to piggyback onto that, there's a video that I did where someone did an Ask HershNoeie, and they were asking about MGTOW, which is men going their own way. And I don't know if I'm even supposed to say the acronym or not, because YouTube is kind of picky on what's kind of allowed and what isn't. It's their platform. They can do whatever they want. I'm trying to do two things at once. I'm trying to talk. This person who, it's always the person who is, that never has a profile picture. And it's a guy. Now, more than likely, it's a young guy, probably in his 20s, because a lot of the folks that are in that movement, I assume, are in their 20s and 30s, right? There may be some that are older, but typically that's kind of the case. But the person who originally sent me the question asking about that was just wondering what my thoughts were. And I think either him or someone else asked me a different question after that on that video. And so the person who responded today, which I got rid of the comment, because if you don't have any sort of substantive thing to say, then it's going to be deleted. If you're trying to be controversial, it's going to be deleted, right? This person said, you know, you took too long to get to the point, so I just pressed forward. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, who cares? And I never understood a man going onto another man's page and complaining about that, about whatever it is on the page. I never understood that. Noelle and I had this conversation about men and women the other day, and I said it's different if women do whatever. But a man, to me, that's not a man. Most men I know don't go. We can agree and disagree all day long. We may sit there and discuss things, but to go into a comment section and basically announce, hey, I'm here, I don't like certain things. It shows your age, which he probably was under 30. Or if he is 30, he's one of those types of guys who really ain't about much, that women complain about, that is basically a loser who, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be negative, but that's what women are saying. They're like, you know, you go out here and you date, and it's like there's nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just dudes you don't want to waste your time with, because guys like this want to be quick. They like everything quick, and they live their life quick. Everything they do is quick. And so then when women find a real man, they latch onto him because you have so many duds that really and truly waste your time. So instead of him wasting my time, I just basically didn't respond and deleted his comment. But to answer the gentleman who sent me this particular question, there was a time when I was similar to that dude that I just talked about. He's not a man. But to the dude that I was talking about, where, I wanted everything when I wanted it, how I wanted it, and it was really just about, dang, my little thing moved. It was just really just about me, right? There was a time when I hit my leg on the little lever. There was a time when everything was just really about me. This was after I had my divorce, and I was out there just, and I was very shallow. I mean, I literally, and this is not a brag point, there was a time when I, was really in good shape and I had a little more hair. I was making a lot of money at that time. I'm making more now, but I was making pretty decent money at that time. And, I thought I was the stuff, and literally just had a very shallow existence. I dated a couple of little models. Noelle knew one. She didn't know them outside of me, but she knew of one of them, right? And that was my existence. And it's a very lonely, it's fun, but it's a fleeting existence. Going out to, because literally I would basically be going out on a Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, recuperate on Sunday, and go to work on Monday thinking about what I'm going to do on the weekend. When Wednesday would come, I'm like, I'm halfway, just one more day to crank it out. Boom, Friday. That's what I did. And so it became a situation that just it wasn't fulfilling. And one of the great things that I could say about being older, because some people will talk about, well, I'm in my 20s, and it's all about, people are talking about stuff like the current stuff, right? That's just what everybody does, like Megan Thee Stallion and what's her name? I don't know. Cardi B and Fetty Wap. I don't even think he's even current anymore. I don't know. I don't listen to the new age stuff. And they think that that's cool, but the thing is that, and that's fine, whatever. But the thing is that when I was younger, I didn't know crap. In my 20s, I did not know very much. And I think most people in their 20s think they know, but they really don't. And looking back, I can tell you there's a lot of things I didn't know. And even in my 30s, there's some things that just really, you learn to take your time. Hold on a second. What is she doing? Hold on. Okay, so Noelle was messing with my recycling bin out there. I'm like, what's going on? But you learn to take your time. And to be honest with you, people respect you more when you do things the right way. And I learned slowly over time that it's not just about me. And as long as I made it about me, I was going to stay single or in a failed relationship. That, and the big difference between me today at 43 versus me at 23 is massive. It's a completely different planet. And most people would say, well, duh. But it really is. Got married. That relationship didn't last. Things are 50-50. 50% her fault, my ex's, and 50% my fault for sure. But I can own up to definitely all of the crap I did. Just wasn't a good husband, wasn't a good guy. Yeah, I'm just being real. It just wasn't. You look back and you're like, dang. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the best way for growth, the reason why I have the stuff I have today is not because I stood and said, well, it's everybody else's, all the women that I ever dated, the reason why I ain't with them because they losers, or, they don't know what they were doing, or they're just trash, or if all that stuff is true, I picked them. So regardless, at the end of the day, it's bad judgment on my part, right? But the reality is that some of it may have been more of them, some of it may have been more of me, or equally both. But it really didn't matter to me at some point. I came to a point where I didn't care so much about what all that they did. It was more about me, because that was the only thing that I had to live with. I didn't have to live with those people anymore. I had to live with me. And I didn't want to be a toxic person. I'm still working on that. So that's why certain things I don't really go down the rabbit hole of, because it's not good for me. It's just not good in general. Now, some people can, there are some people who have the patience of a saint, and they can sit there and deal with a lot of crazy. There are some teachers who have a lot of extreme patience. I just can't. Homeschooling has taught me I just can't. I thought, but no. And the parents who do homeschool and they do it successful, I can't. Noelle and I were like, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. And the teachers who don't, it's like, yeah, give them a raise. The good ones, not the bad ones, the good ones, because it's tough. But it's the greatest thing about getting older, and I turned 43 just a few days ago, but I've kind of been thinking this way for a while now, is that you stop and you look at things, you slow down, you look at things, and you realize how you can improve your life and be a better person, and not someone who's just an a-hole. And you don't sit there and talk about woe is me. You fix things quickly. It's not about being a jerk or being none of that. You see what I'm saying? Like, nobody really is going to say, like, cool, you're a jerk, so give me more of that. And there may be some women who, or girls, I should say, who like the thug or the trashy guy. And they'll reap the rewards of trashiness. It's just, you know what I mean? And I often tell dudes, because there was a time when I was, kind of this nerd, and then, it was just, I was just all over the place. I was never a mean person, never. But it was just like, I could have been a better person. You see what I'm saying? I could have been a better person. And I'm still trying to be a better person every single day by just thinking about certain things, being thankful for certain things, not sweating the minor things that exist in life, and not being bothered by every single thing that ticks across the news, or that ticks across Facebook, or ticks across social media, because you drive yourself nuts. And so I would say the biggest advice I could give anybody would be, and those who care, those who don't care, it doesn't matter. But for those who care, and since you asked, would be to think about you. I always say be selfish and think about you. Work on you. And part of that is by saying, look, if I am focusing on all of me, the good, the bad, the toxic, the beauty, then I can understand who I am. If I have these blinders on and I pretend that I'm perfect, then you can go on Facebook and find women like that, men like that. You can find people like that. And they then get to be my age and wonder why they're still single, or why they're still having issues, or why this or why that, or they're in a shallow existence. It's because they never grew. And it's unfortunate. I'm still nowhere near where I should be. There's still people that I went to school with who are light years ahead of me in terms of maturity and everything else. But every person grows at their own speed as long as you're growing. I would say the biggest thing is work on you. Work on everything that you can. Write down the things. Be humble. Write down the things that you've never really liked about yourself. The things that you know that you can work on. The things that are challenging. Like, I don't have time for stupidity. Now, back in the day, I would just wail on this guy. But you get older and realize you'd be doing that all day long. And that the best response is sometimes no response. You know what I mean? I've always believed in the thought of, the wolves howl at the moon, but the moon never answers back. And there's a reason for that. And so I'm always trying to be that moon. And I'm always trying to be the one that says, you know what? That's how you think. That's cool. Now, once it gets to the point of where you really and truly are completely out there, then I have to basically disconnect. Now, that's just me. For self-perseverance, I have to save myself and just disconnect. And I tell people that. Save yourself in any circumstance. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're around toxic, or you feel something is toxic, or you feel an individual, whatever, disconnect. And so going out here to clubs every night looking for something is never going to be the answer. If anything, it's going to be more of a problem. Is it fun? Sure. Sure. Going to the bar, hanging out, drinking a couple of beers. Yeah, I'm not saying never do it. But I'm saying, like, as far as, gallivanting like I used to do, which is what you're trying to say, you just didn't know the word. I just call it gallivanting. Going out here just being, crazy, wasting money, blowing money. I have nothing to show for that. You know what I'm saying? Nothing to show for that. But I finally wised up some 12 years ago and, met Noelle, and the rest is history. Today is actually Zoe's birthday. She's 10 years old. So, yeah, the life I have now, I tell people I'm blessed for a reason, because I truly am. Based on what I had before, based on now, yeah. I'd rather come home to a family that I know loves me, has my back, versus having to look over my back. Versus having to deal with Ratchet all day. I don't have to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to deal with any of that. And so I'm blessed and I'm thankful for it. So I would say, yeah, this is kind of like guy talk, I guess, and this is kind of story time too, but it's like, yeah, I would say, work on you, focus on the things that you need to improve, and then be highly selective on who you hang out with, who you date. Be highly, highly selective. There have been people who were the model type that I still, after, because there was a time when it was, nope. It's like, oh, yep, I'm going to date you, I'm going to date you, then I'm going to date you, and date you, and sometimes I dated 2, and sometimes I dated 3. Yeah, not proud of that, but it happened. And so there came a point in time when there was another model chick that came around, which was very pretty, and I said no. And I was kicking myself. Like, man, that was stupid. But I realized that you're going to continue the cycle. And there was one chick that I dated. And this is the one that I introduced Noelle to, that had dated, who was a model, who still wanted to be friends. And there came a point in time where I cut it off. Because I was in a relationship with Noelle, I cut off the friendship. Even though we were states away. They lived all the way in California at that point. But I was in, I never lived in California. I was in either Albuquerque or Indiana, something like that. But I cut everything off because I didn't want to jeopardize anything that was here. But also, I wanted to move away from the past. And so I wanted to cut away a lot of the things. There's even guy friends I distanced myself from, because I just felt like it wasn't right anymore. Not that they did anything wrong, or not that any of that. I just felt like it was time to graduate to another level, and to continue to graduate to another level, and to keep doing that without thinking, looking back, just keep going forward. And that worked. There are still dudes that I keep keep in touch with. We don't talk often. There's still dudes like that, you know what, I look over and they're climbing the same hill I'm climbing at the same speed. And it's like, that's what I need to be around. You'll learn that. But there's a lot of people that I, had to distance myself from. And I still do. Because it's just not, it's not healthy, it's not helpful. It poses no threat to my family. But it's one of those things where I'm trying to work on me more so. And if you have a relic of the past, it's always going to be something that's there that is not necessarily good for you. Some people believe you should keep your history around you and everything like that. I don't necessarily think so, right? But anyhow, that would be my advice. I hope I answered your question. I hope I didn't go off on a tangent that was all over the place. Make sure you join the Discord, which is going to be down in the description box below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.